Welcome, Pale Blue Daughters. I got my copy of Ozone 10, so I'm going to explore all 17 plugins that make up the Ozone bundle. This week, it's the Ozone Exciter. I'm actually excited about this because this is a 4-band exciter with a neat, smart feature up its sleeve. Let's see how and why we should use the Ozone Exciter. But first, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And use my affiliate link below at Plugin Boutique to grab their crazy deals. And let me know how you guys are finding Ozone Exciter. What is an exciter and why should you use one? Exciters tend to get confused with EQ because they change the tonality of the signal, but they actually use saturation to add harmonic content to your material. The benefit of this over traditional EQ is that instead of boosting what's already there, saturation adds harmonic content. So you're not just raising the gain of specific frequencies. This is ideal for when the source material simply doesn't have enough information in that area, or you want to add some pleasing color to your mix, much like a tape machine does. This is kind of like a big old tape machine for your audio. And the great news is, Ozone Exciter is like having 4 tape machines that you can use on whatever frequency ranges you like, with 7 different types of tape and transistor emulations. Very cool. Let's dig in. Ozone Exciter opens with a single active band, so you can go ahead and add some broadband saturation to the whole mix. I encourage you to push the settings so you can hear the differences between the types of saturation. And actually register that this is distortion. If you're using it on a mix, you need to be gentle. This is powerful stuff. On a proper master, I would probably keep these in the single digits, blending gently to give a little push. Maybe more if I'm restoring a bad field recording, or for creative enhancing, for example, which I'll get into later. There are 7 different types of saturation, and we can hear that they all sound quite different. They range from very subtle to near face melting. There's a good breakdown in the online manual, and will give you a clue as to when to use which mode at what time. I'm going to switch to Multiband Mode here so we can start targeting different areas of this mix. Oh, and I almost forgot. An important feature here is the oversampling button. Since we're working with saturation, it's great that Izotope included this feature to reduce aliasing at lower, but commonly used sample rates, like 44K and 48K. This adds a little more CPU consumption, but it's negligible, barely moving my performance meter and adding about 1 millisecond of latency. I'm going to leave this on by default. I think oversampling is an important feature when working with digital saturation to avoid enharmonic content in the high end and giving you a more analog sound. So all you have to do to add a new band is move your cursor up to the top row of the header here, and the plus sign will follow you, with a nice clear line and a readout of what frequency you're in. Then, if I click down here around 100 Hz, presto. Now that single band has become the lowest band, and the second band takes up the remaining spectrum. If I wanted to limit the range of the excitation, I could just hover and click again, and just apply saturation in this narrow range. For fun, I'll engage all 4 bands. There. Now I have low, low mids, mids, and highs. This is where things get really interesting and you can change the balance of a mix or master. This mix could use a little more sheen on the high end. Let's raise the high band here. We'll stick with the default triode mode. Okay, you can hear the hi-hats and snare really start to brighten up there. I'll bring down the mix to tame it a bit. It's really easy to get carried away with exciters because they can sound so pleasing. It's always a good idea to A/B with a commercial mix and keep an ear out for pushing too much distortion into your mix. Let's try the tape mode. which claims a brighter sounding saturation due to adding odd harmonics to the signal. Definitely a little more high-end in that mode. I think I like the triode better, it's a little more subtle. Another thing we could do is bring up the mid-range material. Say I want this guitar to be a little more prominent, have a little more energy and definition. I can hear the guitar come up a bit. Let's try another mode. Oh, I like retro, which is a more aggressive transistor sound. I'll blend this down a bit. And I can bypass this band, or any band, to check the difference. Okay, I like that. Let's bypass the full signal to hear the difference. And once again, I have to praise Izotope for including the magic gain match feature. I can hit this and not worry about getting fooled by loudness differences. Great, so even at the same level, I can hear the mix is a little brighter, has more mid-range definition, and warmer bass. Mission accomplished. Another way I love to use exciters is for adding life to vocals. Say I wanted to make this vocal sound more airy, more breathy. I could bust out an EQ and boost a shelf somewhere above 6K, but I risk raising my noise floor and could sound harsh and unpleasant. Here's another way. So we can just add a new band for high end, and let's solo it and find the breathy frequency range. There, so now we can boost to taste, find the right mode. I'm not as picky about the amount of mix here as I would with the master, about the amount of saturation I'm adding, because you can get away with more saturation on a per track basis. Okay, so we have a brighter, airier vocal now. This sounds a little more pleasing to me, almost silkier. You could even go in and add more lows if you wanted a warmer, more proximity effect sounding vocal, or add a little more mid-range for impact intelligibility. Again, we have to be careful not to get carried away, but it's a powerful tool to aid with muddy tracks. You can imagine this working very well for guitars, synths, and other instruments. Now here's a neat feature I really didn't expect. Up here we have Learn. What this does is listens to the incoming signal and detects the ideal crossover frequencies, which allows you to focus on adjusting just the tones of the mix. All you have to do is play your track, hit Learn, and when Ozone Exciter is done, it'll turn off the Learn feature. Now you have multiband crossovers that the Izotope AI has determined to be ideal. This is a real time saver if you're in a pinch, and you can always adjust these to taste. Another great idea from Izotope. Izotope Exciter is an excellent addition to the rather narrow list of multiband exciters. The interface is an absolute breeze to use and adjust, and there's almost no need to read the manual to use this thing. Just trust your ears and your instincts and go. I would add, to my ears, this exciter tends to get more distorted sounding than most other exciters I've used. It reminds me more of FabFilter's Saturn, which is essentially the same thing, a multiband distortion unit, than say Wave's Vitamin. But that does encourage the user to use temperate amounts. You don't want to blast your mix with saturation, unless that's what you want. You could make a nice crispy indie mix with this as well. Stay tuned for the next part of my Every Ozone Plugin Reviewed series. I get asked about Ozone plugins a lot here on Pale Blue Dot, so I hope you'll find these useful. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, mix well.